What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a special live stream, a late night, later than the normal late night live stream. And it's Giles and this guy over here, Mike.
I am Mike.
I'm Mike.
I am Mike, and fear is the mind killer.
Let it pass through you and over you, and the only thing left is I don't know what's left after the mind killer gets you. I don't know. Well, tonight we are here to chit chat a little bit about something that we just experienced. And it was an experience. So, Mike and I, we live in Colorado. So, we got together. We went to Highlands Ranch and at the AMC, what is it, a 24? I think it's the Highlands Ranch 24, right? Mike, are you there?
You're cutting out super bad, dude.
Well, go forth. Talk. I can't talk. My internet's, dude, I got nothing.
Is there anybody even on?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So, is this spoiler free, Giles?
No, you can't. We can't talk spoilers free.
So you want to talk about? You want a spoiler alert?
Okay. Yeah. Spoiler alert. There will be spoilers.
Spoiler alert. There's going to be spoilers tonight. So, Giles and I went with. I wouldn't say we went in with extremely high expectations. However, we were hoping for the best. You know, we went in with knowing that it was probably going to be a really good movie, right? So, seats are good. Dolby Cinema Theater at the AMC. I have never watched a movie inside of this style Dolby Cinema Theater. Oh man,
It was
Jesus,
super good.
it was insane. Okay, between the butt shakers, the Dolby Atmos, the Dolby Vision on the screen, and the crazy thing is after the movie was over, Giles and I ran over to the IMAX side where the IMAX theater was, and they were showing the same movie, and it is a night and day difference in colors and quality of the picture between IMAX and the Dolby Cinema. I thought the Dolby Cinema was way better. The sound quality was better. The seats were nice, huge, comfy, electronic reclining seats. I thought I was at Giles's house.
Yeah, so I totally agree. The IMAX, even the sound quality was off, and I would have been very disappointed if I'd watched this movie in the IMAX theater. Very disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
And I mean, back in the day, IMAX used to be the thing, you know. But I mean, the experience is not even close. Maybe there's a higher tier IMAX somewhere. I don't know. But I mean, the only thing that stands out about the IMAX for this was just the size of the screen.
Yeah, the sound quality was very muddy in the IMAX theater. The picture was dull, not very vibrant, not much, contrast and saturation at all. It was just very dull. And well, let's go ahead and get into the whole movie, aspect of it. Like, what do you think, Giles? Did it meet, exceed, or destroy any kind of expectations you had going in?
Well, so I think if we work up from the bottom, it definitely met my expectations, right? And I think it exceeded my expectations as well, especially from a sound design point of view. I mean, the music was great, the sound effects were great. There was plenty of bass in the theater. You could feel the effects. It was really good. The acting was fine. Now, there were things that I was disappointed about as far as the movie content was concerned, and we'll start getting into spoiler stuff now. So, but before that, what about you? Just general take home. I mean, worth watching in the theater.
Oh yeah, Dolby Cinema, of course, if you have it in your town. But otherwise, yeah, I would go. Even though it is available on HBO Max and for streaming, I would still go to the theater and enjoy the experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get into the movie just a little bit. So, for folks that don't know, Dune is really it's the story of political intrigue kind of in the distant future, year 10,000 something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, there's a big empire, the Padishah Empire or whatever, and there are also noble, so to speak, families, and this focuses on the Harkonnens and the Atreides, right? And there's this chemical called the spice that is found on one planet, Arrakis, and this chemical that you can mine there, it does all kinds of cool stuff. It gives you all kind of superpowers and extends your life, and it gives you better health, and it allows them to create things like mentats and navigators and all this kind of stuff. And the crux of the story is that the empire, the emperor, is worried about the Atreides family gaining too much power, so he wants to set up an event that will cause the families to fight amongst themselves and weaken them. So what he does is he takes the planet Arrakis, or Dune, away from the Harkonnens, who had been running it for, I don't know, 80 years, I
It
think
was
it
80
was.
years, yeah.
Yeah, 80 years. And they had become immensely wealthy doing it and super powerful, handed it over to the Atreides to manage, full well knowing that this would cause the two families to fight. And that's what the Emperor wanted, right? He wants both the families weakened. And he even made a side deal with the Harkonnens to send some of his super troopers to help destroy the Atreides family. And that's, ostensibly what the story is about. But if you get into it, there are all these other layers, right? So there's this group of women called the Bene Gesserit, and they have a breeding campaign that they've had going on for many, many generations, where they're trying to create a super powerful mind that has the ability to see the future, and that's the Kwisatz Haderach. It's the story of the Fremen, who are the desert people. They live in the desert on Dune, and their oppression, and their story there. And I don't know, dude, what other layers am I missing? I mean, there's a lot going
Well,
on.
right off the bat, you could tell and see where Star Wars borrowed a lot of things from this property. And for those that see it and think, wait a second, that's a lot like Star Wars, just remember these books were written way before Star Wars came out. So, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get that twisted, but
Oh, this is the source
um,
material for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Let me set this down. I think that that for someone that hasn't read the books and doesn't know anything about the property, it was very digestible. I think it was very digestible. They they structured it. Obviously, they structured it because they need a second one. You can't have
Well, the
this
story's
one.
not over.
No, they got 90. They barely got to about almost the middle of the story,
Of the
um,
first book.
of the first book. So
Yeah,
it
there's
was
there's a lot going on.
it was
Um,
frustrating because I could have honestly sat there and watched another 2.5 hours of this.
Oh, I could have. They could have done the 4 hour director's cut or something, and I would have been happy to watch it all.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't Jason Momoa petitioning for the entire thing to be released in 4 hours worth?
Yeah, so obviously they cut out a lot of stuff to get to the edit that they have now. So there's a lot of footage that wasn't seen, and yeah, he was asking for that for sure.
I didn't think they were going to kill everybody, to be honest. Not in
Well,
this
they
movie.
all die in the book.
Right, but I didn't think they were going to do it in this movie.
Well, I don't know. I was hoping that they would stay pretty close to the book, and they're pretty close. What's really funny is I had my kids and my wife with me tonight, and on the way home, my wife has decided that she's going to be Bene Gesserit and use the voice to make sure kids do things like take out the garbage, close the front door, don't pee on the toilet seat. That's gonna.
Dude. Which that the voice is very reminiscent of the Force, and the Force, the
Yeah,
mind tricks, Jedi mind tricks, and stuff like that. So, oh man, I thought this movie rocked.
yeah. So
I
let's
thought,
let's let's talk a little bit about the characters, right? So, and things that we liked and didn't like. So what is it, Timothy Chalamet, or however you say his name, as Paul?
I liked him better than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. So he's like a little skinny dude, and and in the book, Paul is a little skinny dude too.
Hmm.
So that I thought that worked out really well. Um, I thought Leto was done well.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I thought, so he's Leto the second, I think, right? So the grandfather was Leto the first, and he died bullfighting of all things. It's kind of silly, right? But they call that out so many times in the movie.
And they
I don't know
show
if,
the bull's head a lot too.
yeah, and they had the little statue of him and everything, and I mean they really
I
they
wonder why they harken back to that so much.
it was a lot. So I wonder if there's going to be something in the upcoming uh movies if they get greenlit and made. But they call that a lot, call that out a lot. I thought that um Leto the second was done well. I can't remember the actor's name.
Oscar Isaac, yeah, he was great. I thought he played a great Leto.
Right on. Then you had Halle Gurney. What's his name? Gurney Halleck.
Gurney Halleck, as Thanos played him.
Yep. And he had one scene, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, oh, that he was killing it. I was very happy with that. I loved Thufir Howard.
Loved him.
That character. He was at a television show that I watched not too long ago called digital something, or I forget what it was. But so there's so many things that they didn't tell you explicitly. So that dude's a mentat, right? And he's also head of security. So you see that when Leto asked him, said, "Hey, how much would it cost for the Empire to send these people out here just to tell us that we are going to take over Dune?" And then his eyes roll back in his head, and then they come back down, and he's like, 1,232,342 solares or whatever, right? But that's because he's a mentat. He's a human computer. And when people watch this movie, they need to be very cognizant of the fact that there are no computers at all in the movie. Not a single one. There is not a computer to be seen, and there's a reason for that, right? And do you know what that reason is, Mike? All right, so
I don't remember.
So once you get past the books that Herbert wrote, Frank, he alludes to it in the later books, but then Brian Herbert and what's his face, they go back and write the prequel books. And what happened is, humanity had supercomputers and then had created sentient computers, robots, right? And they went all Terminator, right? And there was a big war between the humans and the robots. So a law was created that there could be no thinking machines. So they don't have any computers during the time in history that these books happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they have mentats, right? Because they that's how they do calculations. They need human computers. The navigators, why don't they just have a computer do the navigation, right, through space? They can't, right? Because they don't have any computers, so they need the navigators, and the navigators teleport or whatever anyway. So, like, the big ships don't even have propulsion.
Right. I think it's like sci-fi in the 1940s, like before you knew what was capable. But no, I like the fact that the story is so intriguing and so engaging.
Totally.
And, I thought it was great.
So I'm Googling when so Dune came out so the book was published August of 1965. So it's really interesting that, it holds up pretty well. And, books were published, Dune Messiah came out in 69, Children of Dune in 76, God Emperor Dune came out in 81. So, he spread those out long time. So, Heretics of Dune, 84, Chapter House Dune. When did Chapter House come out? I can't see the date on that one. Anyway, so Dr. Yui, I think they really didn't do him a lot of justice.
Why is that?
I don't know. In the books, you just get so much more about him and the whole reason he betrayed the Atreides and stuff. And also, he's got that diamond on his head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the mark of something. I forget the order of doctors that he's part of. There's a name for it that I can't remember. And they are conditioned, right, so that they cannot betray whoever they work for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be able to do this is like unthinkable that he would even be able to do this, because it's not supposed to be possible. And you don't get, in this one, you're just like, oh, he's wishy-washy, and he just, he flip-flopped, and then he got promised fake promises, and then they just threw him away when he did what he did. But in the books, it's a lot more to it, because he is one of these, a suck doctor, S-U-K, I think it is. I'm dredging this stuff back up from my memory, and that's another thing, they just didn't touch on it at all in the book, or in the movie, because there's not enough time.
Well, hopefully in the 4K Blu-ray that comes out, they'll have the 4-hour cut.
Man, it would be awesome if they did do that and had a little more exposition, and talked about all this stuff and described it a little bit more to get some more background.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be super cool. And I'm just wondering if so when the emperor sent his group of people to was it Corian or whatever it is, the home planet for the Atreides,
Caladan.
Yeah, thanks. And there were all these people in the suits and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if those are supposed to be the navigators now.
Possibly.
Because in the old Dune movie, they put the navigators in this big tank, and I think that's how they are in the book too. They're in a big tank, so they can't have been a navigator.
Well, now I'm understanding why they're saying that Chani will have a bigger part in the second one. Her part was very minimal in this movie, very minimal. It was basically Paul's, lucid dreams, and a few shots here and there, pan in, pan out, real quick, and then obviously in the third act, she was there, but I mean,
it just, they didn't get to her part of the book,
right?
Yeah.
So that's why people are freaking out. Oh, there she's going to be, and no, she shows Paul how to become how to really integrate with the Fremen. She's kind of like the liaison between Paul and understanding his new abilities and accepting all that, right? So
totally.
I love the casting, dude. I honestly love the casting. I thought Jason Momoa did a wonderful job. I thought I don't know the actress's name, but the one that played his mom, Jessica Atreides.
She was all right.
Oh, she was great. I thought she was great.
I don't know. I wasn't picking up what she was putting down so much.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just I thought she did an okay job, but not super awesome. I don't know. She was just like all right.
Really? I thought she did great.
Yeah, I thought she was just all right. But yeah, you're right. Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, awesome. Mm-hmm. Gurney Halleck was fine. I didn't like so much Dr. Yui. Liet Kynes was all right, and they didn't get into any of that story, right? So how does this outsider become loved and accepted by the Fremen and considers herself, and they gender bendered her in the movie, which is fine. She did.
Yeah, Liet Kynes was male in the books, I believe.
Yeah, it's a male character in the books, and that was fine. Like I said, Leto was fine. The Beast Raban, that dude is super brutal.
Bautista?
Yeah, Bautista. And I hope we get to see more of that down the line. I think the character that I was the least happy with is Vladimir Harkonnen.
Yeah.
I did not like how they did Duke Harkonnen. Was Duke?
Baron
Baron
Harkonnen.
Harkonnen. I don't like how they did him at all.
Really,
Yeah.
I like that actor though.
The actor's fine, but I absolutely do not like the adaptation for this movie for him. That he was the lowest, the worst part for me. The lowest part for me was that character's adaptation to this movie. Not that it's bad.
He's a pretty important character too.
Yeah, dude, I just like I still remember back to the first movie, the old one, and the crazy that they gave him in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It made me be like, okay, this guy is just absolutely an animal, right? He is brutal. He is, I felt it from that actor, and that movie was only kind of ho hum, but in this one, I don't know, it didn't work for me.
So I'm guessing in the next one they're gonna probably introduce Fade Routha.
Yeah, he'll have to come in the next one. Yeah, Fade Rotha will be there. Maybe we'll see Princess Irulan come in, and maybe we'll see Shaddam the Fourth, the Emperor.
Well, I'll tell you what. You remember when I told you that it's going to be hard to corral all these actors back to the for the second one? They pretty much killed all of but 4 of them. So I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, so they'll have to bring back. I think the Reverend Mother will come back. The mom, Leto. Now,
No, not Leto's dead.
No, I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is, if you read the rest of the books,
I don't think Duncan Idaho's dead. Is he?
Well, no, he's dead.
Oh, okay.
He totally is dead. I think he's dead, if I remember correctly. But he gets brought back over and over and over as a clone in the books.
Duncan?
Yeah, Duncan Idaho.
Huh.
That dude cannot stay dead. They keep bringing him back. So there's this concept of something called a Gola, Ghola, and they're able to clone the body or whatever, and they can. There are these people on the planet. I think it's planet Ix, and they make the bodies, and it's really disgusting and gross when you figure out exactly what they're doing to make the bodies.
Well, it's not the same. It's not the same consciousness, though.
Well, they are able to bring back the same consciousness too.
Really?
Through the magic of science fiction.
Maybe they'll do that. Maybe.
I don't think he comes back in the rest of this series. I don't think he'll be back in any of these. They bring him back down the line.
I was going to say, I hope they do. I really enjoyed his character, and I think he had good chemistry with Chalamet on screen.
Oh, I totally did. He totally did. I like that a lot. So stuff I did like. I liked the cinematography of the movie. I like the ships and the sets and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The costumes, baller.
Agree.
Really good. Really good. I don't know.
Right on.
So that's my take. So for me, I think this was an absolute win. Best movie of the year for me so far.
Ghostbusters has a lot to live up to now.
Yeah, I worry that Ghostbusters is going to be too shallow.
What do you mean?
Just like a light action-ish funny movie that doesn't have a ton of substance to it.
I think it's going to bring closure to the series. I don't think it's meant to open up a whole new can of worms. I think it's meant to give everybody closure and give a bow to Harold Ramis for all his hard work on the first 2, and he was really the one pushing for the third one, him and Aykroyd. So this is a good send off for him, and I think this is going to satisfy a lot of the nostalgia that people from our generation had for these movies. So I think Dune is the beginning and Ghostbusters is the end, So Dune, we're just starting out. Where I think it's going to easily be a 3-4 movie thing. For sure 2, obviously. But for Ghostbusters, I think that this is going to be a one-off, and it's just going to be for entertainment value, and that's it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I imagine it'll be a one-off. Now, I think that I don't. I think they're going to set it up where they could have more down the line.
Maybe not.
I
They
really,
won't use the
I
same
really do.
actors though. I don't think because the
Mm,
kids they're using are too young to continue this.
well, I think
And
they'll just wait till the kids get a little bit older, and they'll just cast them into the same roles just 10 years later.
it rarely ever works like that with child actors. By in 10 years, they'll all be in rehab and doing all sorts of weird stuff.
That's
So,
probably true. That's
yeah.
probably true. Um,
Um, but yeah, man, I thought it was a win. I think for anybody interested in watching a quality movie, go see Dune. Uh, Incredible, and I love the way. Obviously, it's a to be continued, but the way they ended it was very, very cool. Like
oh yeah, totally.
it wasn't some like disgusting cliffhanger where if they didn't make a second one, it ruined everything. They left it to where, let's say something happens, they don't make a second one. This was still a solid movie. Granted, they have a lot more a lot more ground to cover, but I think
Yeah,
it
I
would.
mean,
I think uh, it would be a horrible, horrible thing if they didn't do a second one for the fans.
well, they call it out at the very beginning of the movie.
Book
It
one
said
or
Dune Part One.
part one, yeah.
Yeah, so they flash it up. So the intent is to absolutely make another one if it makes enough money. I think it's already made enough money to be greenlit. So you know, I I wouldn't I wouldn't be shocked to hear once they get the first week's box office back.
Hmm.
What to if
Well,
they're decent numbers.
dude, to be honest, if they've done 1,000 Halloweens, what are they on the fifth or sixth Scream movie, if they've done so many of those horrible, horrible movies, you know, I don't
Yeah,
know
the only
why.
thing is it only costs like $8 to make those.
That is true. That's fair. That's totally fair.
We can make those. Dude, just whoever did the sound for this thing, holy smokes.
Dude, Hans Zimmer was on point.
Was it Hans that did all the music?
Yeah.
Cool. I just want to know who did the voices and the sound effect stuff.
Oh, the using the
All,
voice.
well, using the voice and then the language for the Sardaukar and all that stuff. I thought that
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Super good.
Right on.
All right, I think we should go ahead and knock this one off. I think we've beat the horse enough here. So my final thought, awesome. Go check it out. I'm going to watch it again tomorrow at home, and it sounds like Mike agrees.
I probably will do the same. Yeah, it was great seeing it with you, buddy. Always good to see you and to hang out with you. And yeah, well, now we have to wait for the next movie I will be seeing in the theaters is Ghostbusters. I'd say Eternals is a coin toss. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it in the theater. I don't know.
I'm for sure watching Eternals in the theater.
You are? Okay.
Yeah,
If
the
you
boys
go,
the
I'll
boys
go.
want to watch. The boys want to watch.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we can all go again.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. Right on.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Everybody, take care.